All right, so are you ready to dive into some really cool tech today?
Always. What have you got for us?
Well, we're going to be talking all about Renault's Fireman Access systems.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. It's for electric vehicles, right?
Yep, it's all about EV safety and
Which is becoming more and more important.
absolutely, as EVs, become more and more popular,
Right,
it's going to be really crucial that we're thinking about, how to deal with any potential issues that come up.
for sure.
And one of the big ones that we need to think about and that Renault is really taking seriously is the issue of EV fires.
Yeah,
Now, you might have heard that EVs are statistically less likely to catch fire.
right. Less than gas-powered cars.
Exactly.
But I've also heard that when they do catch fire,
Oh, yeah,
it's a totally different beast.
it is. And that's what we're going to get into today. So
Okay.
I was reading this article on Tom's Hardware, and it really kind of painted this vivid picture of the challenge of fighting EV fires.
Yeah, what is it about them that makes them so much harder to deal with?
Well, it all comes down to the lithium-ion batteries.
Oh, okay.
So, with a typical car fire, you cut off the oxygen and the fire dies down.
Right.
But with these batteries, oxygen isn't even part of the equation. They have their own internal fuel source.
Oh, wow.
Even if you douse the flames, there's a very real chance of reignition.
Oh, that's scary.
It's like trying to fight a fire that's feeding on itself.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And to make things even worse, the fumes that are released from these fires are highly toxic.
Oh, no.
Tom's Hardware was describing these fires as thermal runaway events,
Oh,
which
wow.
I thought was pretty chilling.
Yeah.
It paints a pretty stark picture of the challenges that we're facing.
Definitely sounds like we need a new approach.
Absolutely, we need a whole new way of thinking about how to fight these fires, and that's where Renault's Fireman Access comes in.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, it's actually really clever in its simplicity. So
Okay.
imagine this. You have a metal disc built right into the casing of the EV's battery pack. But this isn't just any disc. It's designed to be a pressure-activated access point. So firefighters, they arrive at the scene, they locate the disc, there's clear markings on the car to show them where it is, and they use a special piercing tool to basically create a direct channel into the heart of the battery.
So they can get water right to the source of the fire.
Exactly.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, so they're cooling the battery from the inside out.
Wow.
Think about the efficiency here. We're talking about less water used, a dramatic reduction of the time it takes to extinguish the fire.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What might have taken hours can now be done in minutes.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
It's a potential lifesaver.
Yeah.
So we're talking about potentially saving lives, minimizing damage, reducing the risks for first responders. It's really incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like they really thought this through.
They did. And something else that's really interesting about this is that Renault has decided to make the patent for Fireman Access completely open.
Really?
Yeah.
So anybody can use it.
They're encouraging everybody to use it, which is,
That's pretty unusual.
it's almost unheard of in the competitive world of car manufacturing.
Yeah, why would they do that?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, what's in it for them?
Why would Renault just give away this, potentially groundbreaking technology? We'll dive into that more after the break.
So we were just talking about why Renault would make this patent open.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, isn't it? Like, on the one hand, it seems like such a no-brainer, right? If you have this technology that could potentially save lives, why wouldn't you want to share it?
You'd think so, but the reality is that the auto industry is,
Oh, yeah.
it's a very
It's
competitive
super competitive.
landscape, and companies, are often really protective of their innovations.
It's intellectual property, right?
Exactly. They see it as a way to get ahead, a competitive advantage.
Yeah, so to give that away for free is kind of a radical idea.
It is, and it kind of goes against the grain of how things are usually done.
Yeah, but even from a pure business perspective, putting aside the whole, saving lives aspect,
Uh-huh.
it's hard to argue against the benefits of standardization.
Right, like think about it. If every EV manufacturer was using Fireman Access,
Yeah,
we could have, universal training programs for first responders.
that would be chic.
It would streamline safety regulations, and even insurance policies could reflect the reduced risk.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right, so you could have this whole ecosystem built around enhanced EV safety.
Yeah, and not to mention the cost savings.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Fire departments wouldn't need to invest in, different equipment and training for every single EV model.
And manufacturers wouldn't have to develop their own systems.
Right. It's like a win-win for everybody.
It is a rising tide lifts all boats kind of situation.
Exactly. But, let's not be naive. I mean, there are going to be some hurdles along the way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, not every manufacturer is going to be thrilled about using a technology developed by a competitor.
Right. There's going to be some ego involved, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And there might be concerns about liability issues or even, the perception that maybe their own safety measures aren't good enough.
Right, like admitting that somebody else has a better solution.
Exactly. And that can be tough for some companies to swallow.
But here's what I think is really smart about what Renault is doing.
Yeah.
They're not just offering a technology, they're offering a vision for a safer, a more collaborative future for the EV industry.
That's a great point.
It's like they're challenging the status quo, and it'll be really interesting to see, who steps up and who kind of digs their heels in.
Right. It's a long game they're playing.
Yeah, I think they're betting that, the benefits of this kind of standardization and the enhanced safety are going to outweigh the short-term gains of keeping this technology to themselves.
Yeah. And that's a gamble,
It is,
but it's one that could pay off big time.
for everybody.
For everybody, exactly.
And speaking of everybody you mentioned earlier, the impact this could have on first responders.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so imagine you're a firefighter and you get called to the scene of an EV fire,
Uh-huh.
and no matter what make or model of the vehicle is, you know exactly what to do,
That would be incredible.
right? You know where to find the Fireman Access disc. You've got the training and the equipment to use it effectively.
Yeah.
You can put the fire out quickly and safely.
It takes away so much of the guesswork.
It does, because right now they're dealing with all these different EV models.
Yeah, each one's a little different.
Each with its own quirks, its own battery configuration, its own safety protocol.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is. It's really pricing for them, so the potential for standardization here is really exciting.
Yeah, it could make their jobs so much safer.
Absolutely, and it would improve public safety overall.
So it sounds like Renault is really kind of stepping up and being proactive about addressing these safety concerns.
They're not waiting for regulations to catch up. They're saying this is important and we're going to do something about it.
It's really impressive.
It is. They're setting an example for the rest of the industry.
Yeah, so what do you think is the most important thing for our listeners to take away from this conversation?
I think the key takeaway here is that Renault's Fireman Access system has the potential to be a real game changer.
Yeah,
Not just for the auto industry, but for how we think about safety innovation in general.
it's a big idea.
It challenges us to think differently about the role of collaboration and the importance of the greater good.
Right, because sometimes competition can get in the way of progress.
Exactly, and whether or not Fireman Access becomes the industry standard, the conversation it has started is really valuable.
Yeah, it's a conversation that we need to keep having, especially as EVs become more and more common.
Absolutely, and as we move into the final part of our deep dive, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on what the future holds for Fireman Access.
Yeah, like will it actually become the standard that Renault is hoping for?
What are the potential roadblocks?
And are there any lessons that other industries can learn from this?
Yeah, these are all great questions, and we're going to tackle them all when we come back for the third and final part of this deep dive.
All right, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into Renault's Fireman Access system.
It's been a really interesting conversation, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have, from the technical nuts and bolts to the bigger picture of safety and collaboration.
Exactly. And for anyone who might have just tuned in, can you give us a quick recap of what this Fireman Access system is all about?
Sure. So basically, it's a system designed to make it much easier and safer to put out fires in electric vehicles.
Okay.
And the way it works is pretty simple. There's a special metal disc built into the battery casing of the EV.
Right.
And this disc acts as a pressure-activated access point for water, so firefighters can basically get right to the heart of the fire.
So they're cooling the battery from the inside out.
Exactly, and that drastically reduces the amount of time and water needed to put the fire out.
It's a pretty elegant solution to a potentially very dangerous problem.
It is, and what makes it even more interesting is that Renault has decided to make the patent for this technology open to everyone.
Yeah, that's the part that really blew my mind. Like, why would they do that?
It's a really interesting question, isn't it? I mean, on one hand, it seems like a very altruistic move, putting safety ahead of profits.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there's no denying that it also positions Renault as a leader in EV safety.
It's like they're saying, we're the good guys, we care about safety.
Exactly, and that can have a big impact on their brand image and ultimately their bottom line.
So it's a win-win for them in a lot of ways.
It is, and it also puts pressure on other car manufacturers to step up their game in terms of safety.
Right, it sets a new standard.
Exactly, but whether or not other companies actually adopt this technology remains to be seen.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is. There are definitely some potential obstacles. Some companies might be hesitant to use a technology that was developed by a competitor.
Right, they want to do their own thing.
Exactly, and there's also the issue of cost. Implementing a new system like this across an entire fleet of vehicles can be expensive.
And there's always the possibility that a competing technology could emerge.
Right, something that offers similar benefits but is protected by patents.
Yeah, so it's not a guaranteed success story.
It's not, but I do think it's a really important step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's sparking a conversation that we need to be having about the future of EV safety.
Absolutely, and it's a reminder that innovation isn't always about being the first or the most profitable.
It can also be about doing what's right for the greater good.
Exactly, and ultimately that's what I think Renault is trying to do here.
Yeah, they're trying to make EVs safer for everyone.
And I think that's something we can all get behind.
I agree. So on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Time fly when you're talking about cutting-edge technology.
It really does. But before we sign off, what's the one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to remember about Renault's Fireman Access system?
I think the most important thing is that this is more than just a technological innovation. It's a philosophical one. It's a challenge to the way we think about safety and collaboration.
It's about putting people before profits.
Exactly. And whether or not this specific technology becomes the industry standard, the conversation it has sparked is one that we need to continue having.
Absolutely. So thank you, everyone, for joining us on this deep dive into the world of EV safety. We hope you found it informative and engaging.
And who knows, maybe it even sparks some ideas of your own.
If you did, be sure to share them with us in the comments. And if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world of cutting-edge technology and innovation.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic. So until then, keep exploring and stay curious.
See you next time.